late, they're gone.
On your way off the tollway, jump off, all our streets
Well,
run north and south.
And especially, like, I can see 5 minutes. Like, you've accounted for some traffic.
30 minutes is a big window to give somebody.
I don't know, I guess we're
Well,
just
we've
all-
had them though.
But I
We've
guess
had a couple of good wrecks lately that are,
I will get started. Before I start talking about me or Fiverr, I'd like to hear about you. If you want to come do it in front of the camera, that would be awesome. Yeah, come on up. We'll go in order.
Okay. You know, on second thought, no.
Oh,
I'm kidding,
come
I'm
on, come on.
kidding. Just let me know when you're ready.
No, it's going.
Okay, hi, I'm Donald Fitzgill. I'm a voice actor on Fiverr. I have a company called Speakeasy Sound Company, voice at the speed of sound.
Nice.
Let's see, I am a podcaster as well, so feel free to connect with me on Twitter as well, at the Donald POV. And I love to do this stuff. I'm full-time, and I love it. All right, bye.
A little bit? No? A little bit?
On camera?
Yeah.
Well, no, because I don't know what
Okay.
I'm doing yet. I just don't have anything to say. I'm not afraid of it. Like I said, I did pharmaceutical sales for 10 years, so all I did was talk to strangers. But my name's Carrie, and I'm just figuring out what I want to do in the social media space, so
Nice. Do you sell on Fiverr yet?
I don't.
No. So this is a great
Started my
one.
account after Graham called me.
Nice.
I'm Teresa. I haven't even started my account yet. In transition, just finishing up my career as a massage therapist and kind of want to work from home now. So,
Always nice to work from home and
Yes.
skip all that traffic completely. Come on up. You know you
Sure.
want to. I can get the guys up there. The girls, not so much.
we have fun. Okay, well, I'm Colin Ryan, and on Fiverr I offer a distance healing service, but I publish and host of the Holistic Radio Show, which is online. It's an online, basically, radio on demand. And mostly we're working with a medical device that has come over from Germany with 20 years of research that NASA is working to get into spacesuits, but it's also good for us for increasing something called circulation deep into the cells. So that's what I do. Bye. I like your LEDs.
I know, it's like confusing to see if they're so.
No, actually it's a form of Qigong, but it's all the same. It's not energy yet. Yeah.
So I don't like have this like super formalized because they just reached out to me, given some of the work that I've done on Fiverr. My name is Jena Apgar. I run a digital marketing strategy firm agency here in Dallas, and I really kind of started on Fiverr. So, and it certainly didn't start as an agency. I didn't start bringing in these big clients. I was quite literally a stay-at-home mom, and I was talking over here earlier before everyone showed up, like completely feeling dumb as can be, talking about colors and numbers, and you know, I'm college educated with lots of really cool jobs in my lifetime, and I'm like, I feel really dumb. Playing video games for fake money, and I was like really fat one day, like pregnant fat, not kind of just fat, but and I couldn't move. Like I literally had some pain in my bone, and I'm like stuck on this, what do they call them, a love seat, and I can't move. And I'm checking out this thing that was on Child Magazine that said, hey, if you have a teen who wants some money, have them check this out. Well, anything that has money involved or random people talking to my 13-year-olds, mama checks it out first. Having nothing to do, it's like, let me just try a gig out. Let me see, you know, what happens, what kind of conversations, and everything was normal. And now I'm getting orders, and I'm on my cell phone watching daytime TV, making money. My husband's making fun of me because it's $5, and he makes like $2.50 an hour. But I'm like, what do you care, right? But eventually that turned into more because I would get a job and somebody would say, can you do this? And I'm like, sure. And then you're over here on Google going, how do you do this, right? And figure it out. And I basically learned, like, I tied it to a blog. So I started an actual website, and I started thinking about what do business owners need. Every business owner has some basic concepts. I started checking out what other sellers were selling, like where they actually have orders, and just saying, like, you know, I could do something like that, but here's my twist. And some of it was just as simple, like, you can hire me just to retweet something. So I have personal, like, accounts that I will retweet whatever business, whatever you're selling, and I don't ask too many questions about it as long as it's mostly appropriate. writing a ghostwriter for writing for blogs. So, and you can change things based on costs. But originally it was like just $5, and you had to work really hard to, take it to $10 or $20 or add an add-on. And over the last several years, Fiverr's made lots of these really cool adjustments. They've now advertised on the Super Bowl. They much further reach business owners. I'm in my marketing groups that I pay a significant amount for each month. And I watch people like, hey, I need someone to do this. And they're not getting other marketers to say, here, I'll quote you here. Even the marketers are like, hey, let me hook you up. This is my seller on Fiverr. I don't even do the work. I give it to this guy over here, and he does it. So they're looking to build more of that up. It's no longer just $5. I haven't even been paying attention to my own count. The last time I was looking, it was like $900. They go to $900. And that is with a seller to account. I don't know how their different levels work out, but one of the big questions I always get asked, like I will hear moms saying, I'm not making enough money, or I'm at home, if I could just make an extra $200 a month. And it just breaks my heart sometimes. I'm like, just go here. Like, don't be afraid, just go set up an account. And the first thing is like, what do I sell? How do I set up an account? I don't get it. And so Graham reached out and gave me a wonderful slide deck that kind of shows you that. I will be even going to my own account to use some of these tips that the company themselves is saying, this is how to make your stuff better and get more sales. So talking about building your seller profile today, if y'all have questions while I'm talking, just like shout it out or interrupt me, raise your hand like you're in school or something, and get those answered. Their new hashtag is in Doers We Trust. I thought that was really clever. That's what they're using on their ads. Doers, people out there hustling and accomplishing things. So not just for the sellers, but even as a seller, I also buy from Fiverr because I have to get stuff done. So wanted to start with your profile before you have any gigs, before you have anything else. What's important is your profile. It's what everyone else is going to see. And you can go through there and you can scroll all the different profile shots and you can see this person, like one of the guys I work with, he sold over almost 150,000 gigs on Fiverr now. I thought that's amazing. That's huge. And you all start with one sale in your profile. So it's all built on trust.
What's he sell?
SEO services. And so one of the big things they're pushing is they did start out as a multinational company. They're actually out of Tel Aviv, and they're trying to push to more trusted sellers so that you know that when you order speech kit, by the way, wonderful voice, that you know that you're getting something of quality. And that starts with your profile. So you get like a nice little blurb. I don't know if anybody has a Twitter account. You get like a short little profile. You get one of those in your Fiverr account as well. You get your picture, and they will tag you with the level of seller you are. There's like very specific requirements. Every now and then to tweak a little bit. You start with like nothing. You get a 1, you get a 2, and then you can get a top seller, which is handpicked. You can't ask for it. There's no way to meet requirements. You just have to do a good job, participate, and they reach out and tag you, give you a gold star. Literally. So you get a chance to write up here. There's a lot of opportunity to write. Think about what you want to say. Make it human. What is your story? I come from the marketing side. Nothing sells better than a great story. When you can reach out and say like, hey, I'm a mom of 3 kids. That's literally in my profile, letting them know that's why I'm here, is I'm participating. This guy loves what he does. You should love what you do. And same thing that I would do in marketing is find a niche to start with. Don't try to do like 50 different, completely different gigs. Start with one and go deep before you spread out. And let everyone know, I work 15 hours a day on Fiverr. That's a little insane, far more than I do as a mom. But he's doing it for his family. He's telling a story. Here's your voiceover artist living in New York, and the seller is showcasing that he has 10 plus years of experience. He's not just starting out. He's not just, I hopped on Fiverr and decided to be an SEO specialist. He's telling you, I've done this for 10 years. I've seen ones that put on there, I've been on the radio for, this company. I've worked in this television station. This one over here has very unique set of skills. This one's more like me. We've got the web development, design, online marketing, radio advertisement. So they're telling you the breadth of the very, very specific skills they do. And when you do searches on Fiverr, so you're the buyer, these words are going to pop up. Just think like you would do SEO for a business website. You have to SEO optimize your Fiverr account for the keywords that are relevant to your gigs. This one I like. This kind of goes back to the guy I was just talking about. They're talking about specifically how much work they've done on Fiverr. So it's kind of like that social proof. You're telling them, in this case, 12,000 other people have trusted me to sell and do their business. My guy, his name's Young Caesar, he's done almost 150,000 gigs. Obviously, you can't say that when you get started, but you can talk to your experience. You can talk to any certifications you can grab. This one, what was it? Let your buyers know how highly you're rated and they feel. So this girl, I remember this one. She's bragging about her 96% rating. Now, you can even keep it 100. It's really easy to keep it 100 by just asking for the review, doing good work, and before after you deliver the work, saying if there are any questions, comments, or concerns, please let me know so I can fix them. If somebody doesn't like your work, especially if it's just a $5 gig, look, if you're not happy, let me just refund your money. Boom, you get to keep your 100%. You won't even touch 96%. This is a big one they're moving to, and lots of the kind of freelance companies are moving to, is you get an opportunity to list the skills that you have, but also the level, and be honest about that. Are you an intermediate? Are you a beginner? Are you the pro, the expert? And before you say you're an expert, be prepared to back that up. Do you have a certification? I have a digital marketing, Certified Digital Marketing Professional certification. You can be a HubSpot certified professional, a Google Ads certified professional. Those are the ones of mine. Photoshop doesn't have one, but if you've been using it for 10 years, you're probably a pro at it by now. If you just learned it in class yesterday, you're a beginner. And be honest, because somebody just wants a basic $5, let's say, logo. They just want to get something out quick, and they would like to help out the newbie. Somebody else wants the pro, and they're going to be willing to pay $100, $200 to get it. So be honest about what you know, and don't say pro everywhere. You're not a pro everywhere. If you put something in there that you're just intermediate, they're going to trust you more for your honesty. Reviews are important, and buyers absolutely look at reviews, because when I buy, I look at the reviews, especially if I'm looking to spend more than $5. I buy logos a lot on there for clients if it's above my pay grade, so I'll just kind of loosely sketch it out or describe it and give it to somebody on there. But before I hire, especially a new person, I'm looking at reviews. So automatically, if you don't turn in a project, so you completely blow the deadline, not even a little 5 minutes late, not 30 minutes late, we're talking 5 days late, Fiverr automatically knocks you and gives you a 1-star review, and it's like a little, slaps your hand. I've totally gotten one of those, forgot to turn my account off for my vacation. And that's my bad. But now you know that. You get a chance to respond as the seller, but somebody gets to see that you didn't perform on time. And if they need something, I need this by Friday, they're not going to choose you. If somebody says, yeah, they gave me a logo, but it was totally straight off the internet, they just copied some image from Shutterstock and punched it out to me and put my name on it. I'm going to write that so that no other buyer will ever buy from them. Hopefully they will see that. It's kind of like how you take care and moderate the marketplace. So they totally put that out of order. Put your current language in your location. That's important. There's a lot of American companies only want to work with American sellers that speak absolute fluent native English, which is completely reasonable. You're a voiceover artist. If somebody is looking for an American voiceover, they don't want somebody in China reading it with an accent. Did I go backwards? No, they just put it completely, didn't make sense.
Wherever they wanted to.
I'm telling you, they just put it like where. Profile image is important. These are actual real examples they put in here that really annoy me. This is obviously Gary V. Gary V is not selling on Fiverr. I've looked, and it, Sarah Martinet doesn't look anything like a Sarah. Positive that's not a Sarah. Complete some stock. This one even says Shutterstock. Don't do that. This is Kissmetrics. If you are familiar at all, if you dive down into digital marketing and social, Kissmetrics is a big company. They love A/B testing. And they've actually determined something as like art. Like you would think that you want to feature your art in, like, let's say your profile picture so somebody can immediately see your work. They've showed that there's a 95% increase in conversions when you stick your pretty face on there. So ladies, get a nice profile picture you're happy with, get your makeup and your hair done, use your face. You don't even need a professional one, just be honest. Like one of the ones that converts the best for me is I'm 5 months pregnant with a belly, on the beach having a trash the dress party for like a re-tie the knot or whatever, if you've ever been to Sandals, covered in paint going bleh, and it's just funny, and it catches people's attention though. Get something that's nice, like they did like the nice dark singing like look here, but pick something that represents you, that represents your style. If you're a massage therapist, are you offering any kind of like, trying to think how that you could translate that over. You could be walking through somebody on how, like a technique or something, or how to set up a massage therapist's business. You've already gone through all the pitfalls. You could have a picture of you at your massage table. So this is rather new. I didn't even know this. This would be really nice to add. You can add, if you have education or certificates now, right to your portfolio so somebody can see. Well, I mean, it's laughing,
I'm
but
laughing at that intro. I can only imagine who wrote that.
the intro. Oh.
That's you. Yeah, it's pretty illegal to say you have an MBA if you don't have one.
Yeah.
And then
This is
true. To Fiverr when needed. Literally, the only proof I have is spraying behind a piece of glass. I mean, they want me. It's 20 years old. I graduated 20 years ago from OU.
You have a chance to put more than one picture.
So it says add degree, like it says, and then present them to Fiverr team when needed for verification. So do I need to call my university from 20 years ago to get?
They might just want to. This is new. This
I'm not trying to be funny or
no.
sarcastic, like legit. Like I
have
can text you a picture of my.
I totally
degree,
know
it's great.
an individual who always says they went to UT, like they graduated, and they always like promoted as they graduated with a bachelor's from UT, and they went 1 year. So I mean, I totally get that. There's even like the difference in certifications. I've paid a lot of money for my CDMP to say I know what I'm doing, and it's tested, and I had people grading my work. Whereas you can go to HubSpot and get a certification, and it sounds really great, but it's like self-study, and you can game the system, and there are little tests and 4-question quizzes. So everything's relative to your background check, but again, that kind of goes back to reviews. If you say you have a master's in marketing, and you don't know what a SWOT analysis is, you're going to get bad reviews, you're going to stop getting orders, and you're going to be pushed down. And if you complain loudly enough, the customers complain loudly enough, Fiverr's going to come back and look like and be like, what? Like I actually had one who said that they had been doing logos for 10 years, and they were, and educated with a degree in graphic design. And they gave me the worst 1980s click art that you have ever seen that was completely, had nothing to do with the business.
Pakistan.
No, I don't even know. But I was just like, you have 2 options. I have no problem paying the $5. You can keep my money. I've already asked for 2 revisions. You didn't get it right. I'm going to leave a miserable review, or you can refund my money. You obviously do not have the skills needed to do a basic logo. So I know as a buyer, a lot of times, I will buy the $5 gig first. So if somebody has multiple tiers, and I will see what kind of work they produce, and I'll usually even tell them, like, look, I'm buying this. I am interested in your $100 product. I'm interested in the $40 logo, or whatever's going on. I want to see what you produce first. So do a good job, and I'm more than happy to add on to the color, add the files. I just want to see you produce first. So that's like, as a buyer, that's my big thing. So as a seller, think about that as a way, like, what is the, almost work backwards. What is the big one you'd like to sell? What is the $900 package, the $500 package you'd like to sell? And then chip away at it backwards and break it down to that $5 piece as an intro. What would make someone trust you enough to get to the bigger one?
So on that one too, do they do non-traditional schools? Because I know like on Facebook, you can't even add it in if it's not recognized.
I will have to look. So my thought was I would have just a work day for anybody who wants to come work. I have got space and internet. My office is actually quite literally across the street. And if you need photos and stuff like that, I can punch out quick photos that you need for stuff if you bring me the base files or if you don't care if your picture's in it. And we can look at that together. Because my college is not always on there either.
Sure.
I did the Art Institute of Dallas, and they always have the Art Institute. They always have the Art Institute of Chicago, some of mine's really old too, but for some reason Dallas just does not put theirs in the right spots.
Yeah.
And so I end up having to mark one of the other ones to put it on there. I'm like, yeah, I want to put my bachelor's degree too, right?
Like I was a monk and a yogi in the 70s for 10 years, so it's like those degrees are not listed.
Yeah, no, I
I've
would.
got 'em,
I'd love to play with it. You're welcome to come to my office next month,
Okay,
and we'll
see
come
what's
play
going on.
together and figure it
Yeah.
out. Communicating with Fiverr, your buyers is really important. So the really nice thing about when you're working on here is when they buy something from you, you move them out of a standard email messaging system in Fiverr, and it moves you to your own little private communication with the buyer. So everything's in one spot, which I love because my regular email, I've got 20 emails for different clients and me and everything, and it's all blurred in there, right? It's hard to go through. So this one keeps all your information in one spot. So oh man, what was it that they were requesting for their logo? You can go to one spot and all of the information is right there, all the files, because you can upload files. And
That's on your dashboard, right? The main little megaphone.
I'm actually not a big fan of their dashboard because
Yeah,
it has
yeah,
old
that's
stuff on
the only
there
one, yeah.
and it won't delete off even though I've answered it. So I just go to my messages and the little notification bar at the
Yeah,
top.
the little, right.
That one's
Looks
great.
like a megaphone.
But one, your response rate is in there. So if somebody emails you and you don't get back to them within 2 days, you just lose a percentage point. And then the faster it even tells you, they respond within an hour. So it's nice to have that
Cool.
on there, but you do need to respond to always. Even if it's just gotcha. Just something to let them know that you're listening. Everyone likes to be heard. If you're delayed, if something's happened, just go ahead and let them know. I've had very reasonable buyers, look, I am just swamped. I'm in the hospital. I'm in whatever. Here's the deal. I will be delivering 6 hours late. Sorry. You just let them know, and they always write glowing reviews. Nobody's cared as long as I communicate what's going on. Here we go. So this is an idea of some of the communication. When an order first starts, you have an opportunity as the seller to say, these are the minimum things I need to know. So if I have on there that I will do a Facebook audit for $5. I have this giant audit checklist, and I go down there and I tell them everything that they're missing, and I have a template, so I even have notes on there what they need to do, and I get to edit it and change it as things change with algorithms. I need their Facebook link. If I don't know where the Facebook page is, can't even start the order. So you have the ability to put requirements in there, so the order, the time, which is really important because you want to deliver on time, doesn't start until they've put in your requirements. So that's nice, because if you put you're going to deliver in a day, but they take you 2 days to get the information, that's not your fault, right? They allow for that, and you can have a conversation, and you can even ping them. They have little easy buttons that make it good. And then just let them know, I'm giving you 2 options. I'm an artist. I couldn't decide which logos, so here's 2. Let me know. And I've even, when I've ordered logos, I'm I hate them both. But if you could take the colors from this one and put it on there and squish them together, I would be happy. Here's some just examples of different types of communications. Just the short of it is talk back to people and, listen to what they're looking for. Speak the language you agreed to speak.
Yeah, I work with some people out of Pakistan. God, I have a hard time understanding it, but they do the work, and
But-
so that's fine.
See, and that's a great thing because on Fiverr you're not actually on the phone with them,
Right.
and they can write beautifully.
Oh, no, they can't.
Oh, well, the guys that I've worked with in different locations, there might be a little word trip here or there. American language is really not English at all.
No, this isn't even.
So
remotely
I've done
understood.
great.
But they do the work, and that's great, so.
So you just have to find how to communicate and be nice and work through it. So,
Yeah.
and that's all this is really saying is keep all the communications on Fiverr. Don't be like taking it off to Twitter, Facebook, email. Fiverr will actually flag. They've already got little ways to know if you're trying to communicate off. And this also keeps the trust up because people know that Fiverr will protect them. So if you try to move the sell off Fiverr, you're going to immediately lose trust from the buyer because they're like, that's shady. Whereas if they keep it on Fiverr, they know they have the protections of Fiverr.
What's an emoji? Is that those little happy faces?
Yeah,
Oh,
you
okay.
know emoji. Got emojis everywhere at my house, but I do social media work. So do not give personal information. I feel like sometimes in my business that doesn't work so well. I put my first name right up there, but I'm not giving them my home address. I'm not giving them my personal phone number. I think I've done it for one time where I just absolutely needed to talk to someone in person. So do as much as you can through Fiverr and through protected means, both for their safety and yours. And deliver your best work. I feel like I shouldn't have to say that. I think as a professional, always be consistent with your deliveries. Always give your best. I actually hired a voiceover artist one time for an explainer video, and I was just trying something out to help pitch a big client of mine, and I went on there and I took the bio about me section from his website, tweaked up the words a little bit to make it sound right for the video, purchased a voiceover artist. He, no kidding, delivered in 15 minutes. He was like, I just happened to be sitting at my computer, had my mic set up, boom. I was like, you're awesome. I wrote the best review. It was this long. It was so good. And he gave me 2. I asked for 1, he gave me 2. Because for that particular $5 gig, he's just speaking into the thing. So he gave me 2 different versions, slightly different inflections on his voice, and it was awesome. The client was thrilled. They still run it, and that was over 3 years ago. That is their still pinned video to their Facebook. Do not fake deliveries. As a buyer, this drives me insane, and I want to take the buyer and shake them. You get penalized in search if you deliver late, and I completely understand that as a seller. On the other hand, I will get someone who completely disrespected time, took on too many orders, did something, and an hour before delivery time has reached, they deliver it with a little message that says, I'm running behind, I'll get it tomorrow.
I've had that happen too.
That drives me
A few
crazy.
times.
Yeah.
Not cool.
And I'm like, just deliver it. If you're late, let it ping you, because that's on you.
Right.
I'm not even going to be upset if you communicate with me. If you talk to me and be like, hey, I'm running late. But don't deliver it and make it all seem good, because I'm going to turn around and immediately modify the order, and I'm going to be angry. My little angry meter is going to go up. Luckily that doesn't happen as much anymore. But yeah, not a fan.
Do you stick your little kids on them?
So my not quite 3-year-old yesterday, my 16-year-old was trying to hug her, and she's like, no, because she's in a bad mood, about to go to bed, and my eldest kind of forced a hug on her, and she just turned around and said, I will cut you. Maybe I should, because my youngest is way more mean than I could ever be. So in marketing, I'm a big fan of having a process. You have a process from having someone find you that doesn't know about you, which in this particular case, Fiverr's kind of handling for you. You just need to optimize with keywords. And have that process go all the way through acquiring the client, communicating with the client, delivering the product. And I always advocate, ask for feedback as soon as you deliver it, that little line. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please let me know. I will take care of it. And, I feel bad, seller, I would totally recommend them, but I gave them 2 stars for services described. That's not happening. Most of them are going to give you firewall 5, such a military term, all the way across the board. But you do have to ask for it. And once they said, no, it's great, or they don't respond at all, let them know, I'd love for a review. This is how my future clients know that I've done a good job. If you could just take a moment out, write a review for me, that would be really great. Most of the time they do. Now the best ones, so the guy, Young Caesar, that I do a lot of work with, he is like a master. You want to go look him up on Fiverr, he has this down to a science. Instead of just saying, order a gig, he's got a little line in there that says, if you order 2, I'll give you 3. So he's just doubled his sales. He has to do a little bit more work, but now he's got another sell. And then when he asks for the review, it's like, if you do a good job, he's like, if you leave me a review, I'll hook you up with this extra too, or I'll send you this template. And it's really nice just to have that little ping back. And I've even started doing that to some extent. Be like, leave a review, an honest review. I do say honest review. It's not, you want to rate me horribly, you're welcome to do that. And I will send you this helpful template, because at this point in time, I've got over 100 templates for people that I've built for different clients. I'm happy to share them with you if you hook me up a little bit. And I get more reviews that way. Why it works. Don't beg for a review. Just a little ping pack. It shouldn't be. Some people are busy. It's better to get no review than be super annoying and begging. I had one person beg for a review over and over and over again. My grandmother had just died. I have 3 kids. I was busy. I was relaunching a company, and he's constantly like every 4 hours, review me, review me, review me. And I was finally like, when I got a moment, I was like, I'm going to review you, honestly. And it's going to include the fact that I am really tired of being bugged for a review. In the future, please don't ever do this again to anybody else. You will not like what happens. So the nice thing, if you do get a bad review, and we hope you don't because you've done a great job, is you get a chance to respond. Now, it's not a whole back and forth conversation. They leave you a bad review, you get to respond. And this is great because, like, my husband, he's an attorney, and there's a company called Avo, and it's some place that people can review attorneys. They don't allow you to respond, which makes sense because attorneys, it's kind of hard to respond because that whole attorney-client privilege. But here you get to respond. I have a bad review on Facebook, didn't even work with the person, but I get an opportunity to respond. They give you that chance. So if somebody is like, this is the worst logo, it was the worst service, it's the worst experience I've ever had, you can go in there and like, dude, you didn't even order a logo. You ordered such and such, and I delivered, and I was very clear that this is a template. I was not giving you a customized marketing plan. You have to pay the extra gig to do that, and I tried to explain that to you. I'm sorry, it didn't work out. So I will give, like, for everyone writing, I'll give these because these are nice little templates where somebody has already been like the unbiased person saying, here's the template. Don't be angry. Don't respond. Try to be empathetic. Remember that they might just be having a bad day too, but it does reflect on you because it's a bad review. So do respond. In marketing, I tell my clients within 12 to 24 hours. You don't want this to reflect your other sales, but go ahead, use this. This is a great template. It's hard to be nice when somebody says not nice things to you. Why it works. Kind of what I just talked about. Take the emotion out of your response. Because the visceral reaction when somebody reviews you poorly is like, especially when you've put a lot of work and effort into it. Step back away. Use a template. Like, if you don't use that one, pre-write one, and then move it over there. Awesome experience equals rebuy buyers and revenue. This is true. A lot of people who are on Fiverr either know other people, so a lot of business owners are coming to Fiverr, a lot of marketers are coming to Fiverr to expand their own businesses, to lower their costs. If you do a good job, so a friend of mine, how I find my guy that does logos on there for me, she posted up 4 logo options that a Fiverr seller had done on Facebook and was like, which one? And I was like, holy cow, those are good and unique. And you can tell they were like done by hand. It's not just clip art shoved in there. And I was like, who'd you use? Oh, I used, I think it's Fiverr Designs. Yeah, I think that's Fiverr Designs. Outstanding. outstanding. So I go to Fiverr Designs and I'm like, hey, you did such and such for my friend, I need this logo. They did a great job. They still do a great job now. They messed up my most recent order, but we'll have communications and we'll work on that. When other people, other business owners, when I go to networking meetings, they're like, oh, I have this really awful logo. I'm like, here's my guy. And they can go and they can handle it, or they can go through me and I mark it up some to have to do all the work and the thought process behind it. This is how you're going to make a lot of your business. So even when my business dropped off because I was starting with a bigger company, bigger agency, and was ignoring Fiverr, I would still get my repeat buyers in the door. So always good to have, and they recommend people. Another good one is, you mentioned you're like getting into social. One of the big companies for Facebook ads is a company called Ad Espresso. And they make these great pieces of content. Like they write awesome content where they actually test things. And one of the things they tested that I thought was awesome as a Fiverr seller is they went on there and said, so their program, you can take several headlines, several link descriptions, and several images, put them in the Ad Espresso machine, and it will punch out 250 Facebook ads so you can A/B test them to see which combinations work the best. You get to test several images. So how do you get those images? So they hired like 2 Fiverr sellers, 2 from 99 Designs, and like 2 big ad agency companies to come up with, this ad that would be on Facebook. So everything else was the same. All the headlines were the same. All the link descriptions were the same. All things were the same except the image. And they wrote it all out. They wrote out all their process. And you know who won? The Fiverr sellers. Not the expensive ad agencies, not the guys who are being paid like $250 on 99 Designs. The Fiverr sellers who were getting paid $40 to create custom images. So you can get work stuff there. Don't spam. I think Fiverr catches it. I get spammed a lot, and then I go click on it, and they already know it. So don't try to troll people looking for business. You want to reach out thoughtfully and be like, hey, you do logos, I do branding, let's do business together or something. I reach out to young Caesar and ask him for things all the time, like, I need this for a potential client, can you give it to me? That's not spamming, that's being thoughtful and creating connections. Don't just reach out to the businesses on Fiverr and be like, hey, I do logo designs, hey, I do logo designs. No one's going to hire you that way. Tips for being featured. So featured is it'll either be on the main page, it will go out in their emails, and you'll know you've been featured because you're regular orders, like giant spike in orders, right? And it's because they've sent you out. And the only way, you cannot ask for that. All you can do is have quality graphics on your main images, have great reviews, have orders. You don't even have to, I've seen gigs featured with 4 previous orders and reviews. It just needs to be a solid gig that people want. Yeah, you can't ask for it. You can't ask for your top seller. You cannot ask to be featured. It is handpicked by their guys. You just have to be awesome. Recommendations to become featured. And this is not just recommendations to be featured, but also to increase your visibility inside the search results. Provide great service. When you provide great service, you get those great reviews, and people are happy to give them. When you give great review or you give great service, people are repeat buyers. They see that. Clear communication. Don't be trying to take them off to your regular email or take them off site to your other business. Meet deadlines is a huge one. They knock you, I think, 10% in your search visibility every time you deliver late. And then a big one, this is where I have a hard time, become part of the Fiverr community. They have a forum. You can ask questions. If you have problems, you can put them on there. You can help other sellers out. And they really like people who help their business. You help them, they help you. You can see some of the different channels they have. They always like interaction with those and shares. Every company does. On Twitter, Facebook, they have podcasts. They have blogs. This was a great example. They needed to advertise this. So they asked me if I could write a blog. I was happy to write a blog for them. I got more sales from that. Go ahead, go to their blog. There will be a lot of different ideas on there. So if you don't know what to sell or you don't know what outcomes on there, they have featured several people and what they do and how they got started and where they're at now. I was reading some other one, when I was trying to do some research on what to write in the blog post. Some guy bought a house with the stuff he made on Fiverr. Like people have left their 9 to 5s completely. They have an academy, never been there. It's for sellers. I think it's a lot of the information that we're covering today, but go check it out. And a help center. So there's the basic help center with the basic frequently asked questions, but they also have where you can submit a specific request. Always meet quality service. They're like, you can read up there that you can't use like Facebook logos. You cannot talk about other stuff. You cannot copy paste some other seller's stuff right into yours. They know it. It's an easy copyscape issue. Deliver on time. Don't try to email the people. Don't take them off of Fiverr. If you just follow basic community guidelines, they will help you. Deliver on time, complete things. You get an option to create a portfolio. So some of my stuff, it doesn't, it's not a deliverable. It's not like a logo. If I'm posting on Twitter, then just take a quick screenshot of, what you've done and use that as your deliverable so you have a portfolio. And that way when new people come, they have all these extra pictures to scroll through that show up the review that went with that particular job. They're doing significant marketing to bring business owners and doers to Fiverr right now. And that's important for you because they do take a cut, 20%. So for every $5, Fiverr gets 1. But you don't have to do the marketing. You don't have to do the social selling. You don't have to do the advertising. And if anybody in this room has done that, it's expensive. It's expensive to order postcards or door hangers or websites. You can start just on here without having 0 other marketing methods other than Fiverr. Is that it? That is it. So,
IT, right?
I know, right? Are there any questions? I feel like I cruised through a lot of information really fast. Silence.
Well, about the pay, I saw that they took 80%, but do the buyers pay up front and then you send a deliverable? Because I guess if not, I just feel like, how do you know if you don't have some shady buyers that are constantly like, oh, I need this, I need this. And
Yeah,
it's
it
like,
reminds me of like lawyers or PayPal, like when you were selling on eBay. So the process is they go and they order, and the money is immediately deducted either from their account or from their PayPal account or credit card, whatever they're using. Fiverr almost acts as an escrow. So they have that money, so it's already been taken from the seller or from the buyer. You're given the job, you deliver, and then as soon as it's marked as good, either because they've left a review or 3 days has passed since you delivered with no complaint, then that becomes yours, and then they have a 2-week waiting period to process that.
Before they give it to you.
So that way there's time for modifications, there's time for the buyer to say, no, it doesn't work. And let's just say, because you've done all that hard work, right? So what if somebody's just like, I don't want it, I want a modification, I want a refund. You've done all this work and now they're asking for a refund. That, it ceases to be an algorithm or computer handling it. It goes up to an actual person reviewing. So you respond, they've responded, and communication goes back and forth. And Fiverr comes in and looks at it and then like, she did exactly what was described. Sorry, the money's still out. You've got your deliverable, but then they get left to review you. That doesn't change. You can respond. You can back out. And let's say you do create a logo. They cannot use that logo because they have not purchased it from you. So Fiverr really, I've never had an issue with deliverability. I think there was one person, I cannot even remember what it was, and there was some way they were backing out of full payment, like the fake bank or something like that, and I was like, it's happened one time and then never again. So whatever that little glitch was or that way around the system, Fiverr fixed it really quick because it never happened. But there's protections on both sides for both the seller and the buyer.
I guess I feel like if you issue templates or things that are digital, it's open to interpretation, right? I can pay for it, and especially if they have a 2-week window, I could just come back and be like, yeah, your template didn't work for me. I want my $10 back.
I mean, that's anything. Working in digital marketing, I build courses and training for entrepreneurs for my business, the Business Growth Network, and I see it in my training and certifications. There's always going to be someone who steals your work and copies it. There's just unethical people out there, and people are going to buy it. I watched, I was in one of my marketing groups, and somebody pointed out, one of the other members, hey, Your stuff's on Fiverr. Your $2,000 product is being sold on Fiverr for $20, $25. They had wrote notes. They had taken, I guess, as much as you can. I have no idea. But somebody was selling their stuff on Fiverr, and you can report that to Fiverr. There's obviously civil litigation, but if you have a template, it's totally open to being copied. That's not just a Fiverr issue. Stuff that I've made, like I have a piece that's 365 Facebook ideas for business owners because that's what business owners want. That's my lead magnet. I sell that on Fiverr for $5. I give it to free to people who give me their email addresses, and I sell it for $5 as a lead magnet on Fiverr. So it's all relative. Anybody can copy. You just have to be able to offer a service that somebody can't copy. So when I audit a Facebook page, most people are not going to be able to audit it like me. You might have my audit template. There's no way you're going to be able to go in with the experience level I have and do that audit the same way. You're not going to be able to look at the images the same way. You're not going to understand the language the same way or the story the same way. You have to be able to offer something that's can't be competed with. So lots of people are selling on Fiverr.
Do you do TaskRabbit?
TaskRabbit? No. What's that?
Their competitor.
It's what?
Their competitor. It's the exact same thing.
Well, it must not be a well-known competitor yet, because I'm in marketing groups that hire these, VAs and these extra services all the time. Never heard of it.
So it's mostly East Coast right now, but same deal. They're kind of a little more abstract, like because New York's so New York. I mean, you can hire somebody to come over. Like one guy was like, "I'm flying, my wife's sick, I need you to come over," and they had to build kids like Christmas toys, but it was like $150, and just stuff like that. Versus more, I feel like Fiverr's more digital, but
Fiverr's more digital. Like you can do video and you can do all sorts of other things, but yeah, everything is digital, but it's global.
yeah.
So I've gotten clients, like monthly recurring social media clients. My favorite one is a UK dentist that also did medical beauty treatments. There's no way if something's just East Coast or nobody knows about it, you can't get that kind of fun business. I made like these awesome Instagram pictures where like all the picture was in a tooth, custom photoshopped. You have to like go above and beyond. There's applications out there that will pump out quick videos or quick posts or quick this or quick that, and somebody on Fiverr is going to sell that, right? What can you do to step it up above that? Or if you have the $5 post and that's your quick one, can you offer a custom option for a little bit more and just keep it relative and consider the market? Be special.
So what else did that article say? Where you initially found them?
Which one? Fiverr?
No, the blog post said you were reading like Child Magazine for the teenagers to make money or whatever.
It was literally a clip this big.
Oh.
Yeah, it wasn't a whole lot. That's why I was like, Mama needs more information. Because as a marketer, I know that you can pay for that blip. It might be organic, somebody put that together as value added, or it might be paid for. So I want to know. I've never been to, the one time I was angry is the $5 that was taken after I did the work. And it was such a weird situation. It's never happened before, never happened afterwards. So it's the only thing that's made me angry on Fiverr. Like at Fiverr, the company, in the process of being a seller, every now and then I'll get pinged on a gig and they'll be like, "Oh, we don't like your video. Like my profile video or something for that gig is too similar to the other one because I was trying to knock them out quickly. Maybe the intro's the same." So they'll ping me on my video, or they'll be like, "Somebody doesn't like this." What was the one? Somehow I got pinged saying I copied from someone else. I was like, no, handwrite this one myself. And so you just change up the words. Oh, I know what the other one was. I mentioned a word too many times. So like you can't say the word Twitter. Like there's like a max capacity of how many times you can use one word in one gig.
Good to know.
And I was like, okay, I'm just typing regular, but trying to get things saying, this is what I'm going to do on Twitter. This is how I'm going to do it. I don't want to use any pronouns or confusing words. Let's be really crystal clear on the communication. So you just kind of have to work around and use the help center. Any other questions?
I think just in regards to you were asking, people could just take the work. That was a concern actually of mine doing voice work, because just as Jenna was saying, every time you supply something, my thought was, well, what if they just say I don't want it? Well, they already have it, So it's like, what do you do then? And I think what I read, like when I first started Fiverr from some top sellers, I heard them say, hey, you're going to end up giving away some free work. But that's not what most, I mean, I rarely, I very, very rarely have that happen. So most of the people there are going to be good.
Oh, and you get to review them
honest
too.
people.
Yeah, that's the other
Yeah.
side. That was good.
You get to review the buyer. So if you have a bad buyer or who's too complicated, or like I had one yell at me, you get to put that in your review. They get reviewed just the same as you do.
Yeah, they absolutely do. And also, I when I first started off on Fiverr, I had I was there for 5 or 6 months and didn't get anything, not any business at all. I had my $800 demo there, for voice work, and just I got nothing. And then one day I went and decided to do a brand new, just conversational demo, changed up the marketing, and asked myself, why would someone come to me? When looking at all of this stuff, why would they come here? And then once I asked that question, I changed my headline, and then I've been getting business ever since. I've done over 1,000 different orders now at this point, 100% rating, 5-star reviews, all that stuff. But so I would say always look at how you're presenting yourself, and don't be afraid to change how you're presenting yourself if it's not working. One thing that I just really hated about the way that I approach this is that I waited so long. I waited 5-6 months before I said, okay, how about I just change this up? And really, it was a one little line. I think at the time it was, I'll provide 150 words in under 6 hours or something like that. And no one else had that. So when people looked, they were like, wow, is this real? You can really do this? So, I mean, it was just, answering that question, how am I setting myself apart? And people, like Jenna was saying, I mean, they're very loyal. I have so many repeat clients that they come all the time, and they tell people. I deal with a lot of churches, and every time you do something, it's really an advertisement for yourself too, because especially with voice work, somebody is hearing it, right? They're playing it so that someone can hear it, and that's an advertisement, because you never know who's listening, and that's what happened for me with an area in Atlanta and Augusta and Maryland and LA with this voiceover work. I'd get one client, do well for them, and then people would ask, hey, who was that? Who was that? Who was that? And it just grows. So just keep sticking with it and change your approach if it's not working.
You get to have multiple gigs. You can take the same offer and you can make different gigs and different headlines and change it up and see which one sells. Use different keywords, use different sections like you get to put in there, and you'll see one immediately pulls ahead of the other, and you can just we'll turn the other one off and focus on that one. So yeah, keep on hammering them out. Change up the pictures, add a video. Videos are nice, like obviously voiceover, I would hope you have a video so somebody can hear your voice.
Right.
But letting that eye-catching, Fiverr themselves is going to promote the people who have video, but it just, to the client, it shows the breadth of work. And again, you get to put your pretty face in it, and they can say, she looks trustworthy. No, it's shady, no shifty eyes, right? It makes a difference, though, when somebody can see, it's a real human being doing the work.
I just don't know what I want to put up there, because I'm not a digital social person yet. I'm not, in case you didn't know, I in fact don't do voiceovers. I just don't, I've worked for 15 years, but I've been out for 8, so.
What have you done?
Pharmaceutical sales and marketing. But
So I bet you know a lot about sales and how to go out and reach people. That's where I suffer. I don't know how to go knock on doors. It's like me cowering in the corner. That's why I do digital marketing, is I can do inbound traffic. But when you want to aggressively grow, you have to do outbound traffic. You have
so
to
I
go.
searched the Dallas people. I didn't see you on there. I don't know if you put it on vacation, still or whatever. But first of all, there's only 8 unless they're not fitting their city
I
or
think
putting in
it's-
a different city.
The location, a lot of the changes they've been making are very recent. Like if I pull up how many transactions I've had even in the past year since I've been able to work full time, it's not that many compared to when I didn't, Fiverr is where I started. And then I catapulted up, and it was, what I was doing was bigger than Fiverr. But Fiverr had its own limitations then. So in that year and a half, they've made so many changes. There's an ability, instead of just gig extras that are like little bitty, there's entire packages. So let's say you wanted to manage someone's social media, and you wanted to charge $200, $500 a month, depending on how many posts, or if it was organically posted or through Hootsuite Buffer. You can put those in there and have options like that. So it's really just, so much has changed. So you're saying there's only 8 people in Dallas. I can promise you I've talked to more than 8 people that are sellers in Dallas. So it's an issue. They just haven't gone in there and changed. Like mine just says I'm in the U.S.
Right, I was
Doesn't
gonna say,
say
unless they're
Dallas.
not fitting their cities, but then they were all, 3 of them were like, I'll post 50 flyers at UTD. I'm like, first of all, do people do flyers? That's my era from a long time ago. And then second of all, I just was like, if this is what the city is generating, this is probably not the website for me.
Companies need flyers, and they need dependable. So I've actually been on a crew when I was younger that was handing out flyers, and 2 of the guys literally took the flyers, tossed them in the trash can, and moved on.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm physically going door to door and putting these little door hangers on, right? To be able to have that trust that things are being handed out, I do that for my clients. I have made that offer to a ER medical center as part of my services. I will physically go out with my teenagers and maybe a couple of her friends and ensure that your door hangers actually make it on the door. So, it's kind of laughable, but as a business owner, how much is that costing him versus what is it? If one person hires him or comes and buys, he wins. And as long as he's making 10-25% margin, he wins. So it's all relative.
Yeah, no, and you set your own price. I guess I just meant, I'll be just real honest, I can't work that hard for $5. I cannot spend 2 hours at UTD putting out flyers for $5.
It's all.
Well,
what if that's all they can do?
I was about to say, you don't. That was kind of the thing that I'd done voiceover work for a long time, and I didn't go to Fiverr because I was like, I'm not going to do this for $5. I just did something for $300. Took me like 15 minutes to do outside of Fiverr. I didn't want to go in and do that until I broke it down and I said, well, how can I make this worthwhile? And for me, it was the speed in which I could do it. So if I'm going to only get $5 to do something, then I want to, me personally, I want to complete it within 5 to 10 minutes.
Right.
So if I look at it like that, well, I can do that, 10 times, 10 or how many other times in an hour. So when you look at the hourly rate by how much time you're spending on something, then it completely changed my world, actually thinking about it from that point of view. But yeah, I absolutely wouldn't spend all day on something $5.
Yeah, so if you can click, literally, like you said, a template's literally just a click.
Right.
That's $5.
That's awesome.
2 hours handing out pamphlets at UTD in July, that's going to cost you, brother.
Yeah,
It's not going to
it
be
is.
$5.
It shouldn't take you
but
2
it's
hours to
still
hand out
probably
50.
A college student that was living right there.
I'm
they're
sure.
not
And they're
having
just
to
walking
drive
and slipping it on cars or on their
I'm
way
sure,
to
I
their
guess
apartment.
I didn't preface what I'm saying. I'm not bagging them, they can do it, they do live there, I understand all that. What I'm saying is the initial thought of looking at the website, that if that is what you were offering, this is not for me.
Here's the other thing too. I feel like if you saw, let me pull it up here. I'll go to my own account. Selling. I don't even know how to go to my account. Profile. Here we go.
Good work for $5. And for 2 hours and 93 read, but.
So if you'll look, I've got the little purple thing here that says 2, right? When I tell people, when I'm talking to my
Is
business
that a
owners,
video profile, is that why it's?
no, it's because my thing's hovering over and it's asking me if
okay.
I want to edit it. I tell my buyers who are small business owners to only purchase from level 2 and above sellers. You're in business, you need things done, you need them done right, you need a certain level of quality. As long as you hit up level 2 and above, you're pretty safe and secure from a lot of these issues that buyers discuss on Fiverr. But how do you get to level 2? You have to have a minimum number of sales and a minimum time window to hit that level 2. Now that's not hard. I hit it without trying. But I was offering, one of the things that I did is I looked on Fiverr, what is selling, what can I do from my cell phone with one hand, because I'm literally breastfeeding a baby or I'm stuck on a sofa. I don't have any other assets. I don't have any certifications other than an interior design degree, and that doesn't really apply as much there. I'm on the bed. I'm not taking pictures because I'm fat. There's all these limitations of what I won't do. So I started undercutting the things I could do. Like somebody said they would do 5 for $5. I'll do 10. Because what else am I doing right now? I'm doing it in my, this time that I'm literally watching the worst daytime TV that makes me want to shoot my brains out. As an educated female, it's only that $5 looks really tiny. And like I said, my husband laughed at me. He was irritated at me. The $5 doesn't stay $5 though. When you build up that trust, when you get those 10, 20 orders in, you can get that level 2 seller. That's when you can start to do more. That's when the world kind of starts to open up a little bit more to you, because now you're not just selling to the people who don't have a budget. Now people are coming to you that do have a budget.
So I guess that's why I was trying to figure out what was selling. That's how I got turned off with the whole flyer thing. So how do you find out what is selling well then?
You search.
I may have done it wrong. Like I just put in Dallas in the search bar.
No, I don't search like that. Like let's say you were talking social media.
Or then I tried like Twitter, and I felt a couple came up, but like not a ton. Of course, I was mobile too, so maybe I didn't scroll through the whole thing.
It's hard, I think, for you to see. Let me zoom in here. If you see when I like hover over here, these little stars pop up. Now that is not how many times this gig has been sold. This is how many times it's been reviewed. So it's a little deceptive, but that's how many times it's actually been reviewed. So 32 people have reviewed this one. Let me go to my guy.
So what would be considered like a decent amount?
It's all relative. This one's 176. What's your name on Fiverr?
Speakeasy.
Spelled the right way?
Well, let's just try it. I rarely search it, but actually there might be a space. Let's try a space in between there.
You know what? There's like a certain sellers.
Yeah,
That's not you.
No. Let's like speak. Yeah, let's try. Yeah, underscore. Yeah, there we go. That should be me.
There you go. There's your face.
No excuses. And his shirt.
Right. I can see right here. He's got 691 reviews, not sales, reviews.
What's the 5? Oh, 5
5
stars.
stars. That's he said he's got Fiverr 5. So I know from that 691 people have not just bought his service; they've been happy with his service.
So how long have you been on?
March 2015, but I didn't get business until.
Oh, so you said 6 months.
Yeah.
And how long have you been on, Gina?
He's not edited his gig. If he would add a couple more gigs, and he would do his gig extras different, so like, let me show you. So he has, and I understand why he does this. He does it by how many gigs is by how many words, right?
Right.
So let me show you. But when you go to his profile right here, he's got 1, and so that is his best seller, right?
Right. Now I've over the. Like if we logged into my account, there you'll see probably 5 or 6 that I've had, but after they don't perform, I tend to yank them off.
Which is smart.
Yes and no.
I haven't been able to. I mean, I put out a voicemail one. There was one where I was doing these customized rap songs, and that was actually really good. But I was spending more time.
I think I've looked you up before because I almost bought it.
Did you?
Yeah.
I mean, it's and
I was like,
You
how
know-
would my husband like a
You
customized
just
rap
said
song
voicemail.
from
I
out of
did
town?
really good. I did really good at those. But I was spending too much time at it. And my starting price on those was $25 or $50, something like that. And I would still get orders, but it just wasn't quite enough.
See, I would
for the
leave them
time.
up because it shows your breadth of work. And if somebody likes your $5 work, they can then, again, it's all about trust, and they don't mind bumping it up to something more creative.
Yeah.
But I actually took mine down, but before, my bestseller here, it was a $25 one. So it kind of lets everyone know, this is the gig that everyone knows this person from, and this is really the price you're going to pay. And that algorithm just, it congregates, here's the best one that gets hired, that people choose the most, but here's also the typical price. And that one was I had a blog that I'm actually completely deleted it and revamping it into a different one today, shooting the video after this. But my most popular gig on there was to do a product review. And so all these people who had some kind of product or t-shirt or whatever gizmo, for $5 I would write a quick blog review. For $20 extra, they could get a video review. You can see my video process really isn't that difficult. I would just lay it down, or I'd stand there and mess with the product. If something's wrinky, you could click it and it would break, and that's reflected in the review. That was all it took for me to make $25, and I could punch one of those out in 15 minutes, and I got the product. I got to build up my blog, because then that post goes on my blog, and now their company is promoting my blog. So you're looking at it as I only made $25. I'm looking at it as I got paid for another company to promote my blog.
I don't have a blog, but that is
No,
genius.
but that was a way. A
back
blog
to-
I could do for my cell phone. So that was my limitation. That's what I could build websites all day long. That's what you have to ask yourself. His voice is beautiful. He just speaks, and it's not even like he's trying. So for him to be a voiceover and to read a script, he's not even writing the script. Just to read something into the professional microphone and slip over, what is that, an MP3 format?
Most of the time, or wait.
Or WAV file. That's nothing. That's nothing. You have to kind of think about that, and then, like you said, it's promotion. If I have a business, let's say digital marketing, I take my business, and I go offer a Groupon, and Groupon wants me to discount my stuff 50%. So if I have a $100 product, Groupon wants me to sell it for $50. I've probably just slaughtered my margins. I'm literally losing money, and on top of that, Groupon keeps half. So I'm getting $25 for a $100 product or service. I'm losing money all over the place. But if you think about it as the money you're not making, or even the money you're losing, and you stop looking at it as the money that you are creating, and think about it as almost marketing dollars.
Yeah, like advertising.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're shortchanging yourself. So I thought about my blog. It costs a lot of money for SEO and for someone else to
Sure.
promote, and these companies are posting my link on their website and then spending $200 on Facebook to boost it.
Wow.
I'm putting together a YouTube video that's just a mom. I did a breast pump once. Didn't put my boobs out, just showing how it worked and showing all the details and the buttons. Not only helping this company, and that company is sending traffic to my video and embedding their video, I'm getting paid for Google AdWords through the ads that show up on that video. And I'm also helping out other moms who can then turn around how did you like that one? I'm debating between A and B, and I'm adding value and building up a community myself. And the bigger my community is, the more reach I have as a digital marketer, the more connections I have to be able to reach out to and say, hey, you can do this. Or my clients, you said you don't have any experience in social media. As a business owner, I'm not going to hire you, certainly for not a price that you deem reasonable. You don't have anything to back it up. When I tell my clients that are paying me a lot of money through my Brain.blog agency, I can tell them I have hundreds of clients that I've run their social media for, and they're all happy to share. Here's Artify, here's Smileworks, here's this company, here's that company, that trusted me because they didn't mind because they're paying me a little bit, and I'm cutting my teeth and learning how to do the business. That's still my client, and when I work on my agency work, that's still somebody I have done work with.
And they trust you.
And they trust me. Because
Well,
they can see
trust.
I've done that. Those people, those same people, they don't just necessarily come and rate me on Fiverr too. If they order enough times, they come rate me on Facebook or LinkedIn, they reach out and they become, I don't want to say friends, but they become, you're better, or kind of they become a bigger part of your network. Social media, digital marketing, all that scope, that is bigger than just a little bit. I don't know if you've ever pitched a client. They're not going to pay, I don't know how much you would charge for monthly management. They're not going to pay $500 a month if you can't show them that you have certifications, clients, social proof. They'll be like, this guy out of India will do it with lots of social proof for $200. This local person will do it for this price or that price. And when you start to break down the traditional boxes of business, that's how you kind of have to look at Fiverr. I didn't start making great money until my own businesses, until I stopped thinking and hearing what everyone else was telling me. You need an office, you need the brick and mortar, you need a telephone system, an internet system, and this system, and that system.
Oy vey.
When I just said, what's the difference? I'm sitting here feeding a baby, watching daytime TV, playing video games. $5 is more than I had yesterday. Even though it might be insignificant to my overall income, it's more than I had. I don't need an office. I don't need to see clients. I don't even have to do the marketing because Fiverr's doing it for me. I just need an image. I'm not ready to do a video yet. I don't have that capability. I just have to write up a gig. I don't know what to sell, but what else am I going to do? So,
So back to finding what was top sellers that you could undercut. You just do it by keywords.
you just think about what would somebody who needs your service be asking for? What words would they be using? Now, there are certainly programs and applications you can buy that would just be like the same thing as Google, that mine the keywords that people actually use, and I don't see why the ones they use on Fiverr would be any different. As a business owner, if I'm looking for someone to do SEO, I'm literally just going to put SEO in there. And then on this search bar over here, I can like, what kind of SEO? You know what? Content is king. I want articles and blog posts. You can go down there, so now only the ones that are in that particular category will show up. You know what? I'm on a tight deadline. I need it in 24 hours. Like you said, 6 hours. You know, I don't really, I need it to be English. You know, kind of like my blog articles to be written in a native hand. And let's see, show more. But now you start to get a much narrowed down view. I will do an SEO article writing. So anybody who knows like a lot about blogs, there's the SEO kind with keywords, right? That maybe it has value, but not as much. It's just there for Google to love you. And then there's the kind that, you know,
Say something.
that says something that people really want to read, that draws them in.
Right.
This person is not going to be the one that writes a great story, but they know what you're looking for an SEO article. They have 102 orders. They're obviously doing something right.
And I just want to interject real
Go
quick
ahead.
too.
You can come on up here.
No,
come on now.
It's all right. But just another way to kind of see this, if you're trying to look and figure out who is selling and what's going on, if you, like, Jenna, if you clicked on that first one right there.
The first one?
Yes, and then up there in the upper right, we see it says 8 orders, or I'm sorry, left, I apologize. I get that mixed up, 8 orders in queue. So that is kind of a rough idea of how much they have, but it's a little misleading because it'll keep incomplete orders, and they can show incomplete for whatever reason, but
Still a ballpark.
Here's another one.
yes, that is a good ballpark. So you can kind of tell, okay, wow, this person has a lot going on, or this person doesn't. You know, because sometimes the price may not necessarily relate to, you know, are they selling?
Correlate to you can ask where you want type thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing is, like, I look at that, I look to see if they're too booked. Like, if they might be too busy to handle my order, you know, really well. So sometimes I don't want orders in queue. I only want, like, one in queue because I want someone who can take the time to process my order
Well, if it's a
individually.
buyer though, he's right, as a seller,
Yeah.
I mean, that's all the more reason for me to take some work off your plate. Might be too
There you
big.
go. The other one is, like, how many people have favorited this gig?
Yeah.
So either they've ordered it before and they want an easy way to come back to it, or they looked at it and were like, I want that, but I don't need it now. And so they flag it.
So that's on the actual person's
See, they
sort
should,
of
I wonder
profile
if I should put
page.
their little initial, what do you call it?
Well, I think they were like Fiverr Seller 101. What do you need to know the basics? Because one of the things is you get on there and you just like throw something together and you're like, why am I getting no orders? Well, because you have a really bad picture from, you know, stock, because you didn't optimize it for the keywords that people are actually using. You're lying about something, or you're keyword stuffing. So I think they're kind of covering the basics of how do you sell on Fiverr and trying to cover the parts that, you know, that make the biggest difference. Now, as a buyer, you know, that's something else you would look at completely. When you start getting into the seller, it has like little things that start walking you through features. So you'll click on here to be like, hey, you didn't add any of this, or hey, you know, we have these packages you can add now. So like think silver, gold, and platinum packages. You can have the one for $5. Let me see. I know I have one in here where I kind of was playing around for it. Oops, buyer request, wrong one. Selling my gigs. And consult. Review. So right here, you can break things down into different packages. And then you can get really detailed and tell them what are they getting for each one of those. And I mean, you have some of these like 30 days. If I'm going to manage it for a whole month, it's got to be 30 days, right? Whereas, the basic breakdown and evaluating your page, that's not going to be near as long. I want time. All my gigs are long because I have 3 kids and Fiverr's not my priority. So that probably lowers mine down sometimes, but I have to consider what is $5 worth to me at this point. And I'll go in, like a lot of these are new. I just kind of threw this together. I didn't put a lot of thought in it, and even since I did this, a lot of changes have been made. So I will probably do something similar to this here at the beginning of next month, just at my office, like bring the laptop and work out. If y'all want to come join.
Sure.
Because I need to update mine, and I might as well share and play while I do my work.
So this table, did you put the table in, or is that something that
Fiverr does that for you. You don't have to code any of this.
Oh, cool.
It is like write 200 words, add an image that's 200 by 100 pixels, add a video no longer than 1 minute. Like they
Okay.
try to make it as dumb as possible.
Well,
you don't have to code anything.
It's like mine. I have no idea why I'm getting orders because I put it up and it got zip, and then I started buying stuff on Fiverr, and all of a sudden I started getting orders.
But you were also logged into Fiverr while you were buying.
Yes.
So it showed you as being online. That's part of it.
That's the tricky part. Then. So you have to be online.
So that's what I told my sister. I was like, you keep
It
on going
helps.
offline. Yeah.
It does help. So a lot of buyers will search for the online, who's online. Okay, so let me just go to these people because I want it now. I don't want to not get a response, for some amount of time. So yeah, it definitely helps to be online.
So here's my guy. Like, look at that.
Great.
Yeah.
How long has he been on?
I have no idea. Since 2012.
And I bet if you went to his bestseller and clicked on there and saw or I think it was the upper left one, it would probably say at least 50 or 60 in queue. Maybe I've seen a lot of the SEO people say 100 and something in queue. Yeah, say 183 orders in queue. So yeah, the SEO.
This guy
that's the
has
highest
employees
one.
now. It is not just him.
Yeah.
He has a whole website where he can direct people for more information because some of his packages are, this is not one of them. He has some that are $1,200
So
a
you can
month.
go off-site then through it?
His is a little different, so he has stuff where he can go off-site, so you can get some more information and
Is
kind of
that
get
because
the
he's
pricing.
so big or so
Yeah,
successful?
but
or whatever?
there is no purchasing on his site. It all drives you back to Fiverr to purchase.
Oh,
So, I mean, that's part of what he does, and so he needed to like take people off site. I'm sure Fiverr slapped his hand a little bit, and so he created a site where he could give people more information, but everything just drives him right back. So, like I said, this guy's got employees now that manage, and if I need keyword research, his $5 a time running it through the equipment and applications that he has, there he can just punch in a couple keywords and it blasts out everything I need. I'd much rather hire him for $5 than have to maintain the application myself for $100 a month, because that's how much the application is,
and I paid $1,000.
and I don't have to do anything. So, well, this one's monthly, that adds up over time. But he does the work, and he's got guys, like he has somebody that's only job is to communicate with all the buyers. I mean, you look at it, that's just one gig, 183 in queue.
Wow, that's great.
So-
Want to look at mine real quick?
Huh?
Want to look at mine real quick? Like it'd be a neophyte one.
Okay,
I think it's under Happy, HAPPYQI.
one word,
One or two,
happy
QI.
space or no space?
Try a space, since it's not popping up.
Happy Trump time?
No, it'd be Happy Chi, but maybe no space.
Happy quotes?
No. Maybe I don't have it listed there.
Happy 45?
I don't know how I got it listed, I guess. Well, there's part of the problem.
Q what?
QI,
Q
Chi.
Chi, spell chi.
That's
No,
it.
that is
QI is
Oh.
Chi, yeah. It's a long story, but in Chinese, they don't write the way we do in English.
Of course
You've
they
probably seen that. So English got it by going through Russia first. That's why it's so crazy by the time we get it. Would it be under my name? Maybe
No,
not.
whatever your username is, that's what it would be.
Oh, Colin Ryan, one word.
Oh, is that your username?
C-O-L, yeah, C-O-L-I-N.
C-O-L.
L-I-N-R-Y-A-N-E.
Oh wait, Ryan with a.
R-Y-A-N-E. It's like Ryan.
I don't see anything. Yeah.
No. Okay, well,
You should probably look into that.
yeah. I don't know what it is.
So if there's no
I
other
can
questions,
get it,
I'm
but
gonna
I'm
wrap
not
up
online.
because I have to film a mom video
Well,
today.
thanks.
I have to be a mom, that's what I do now.
All right.
Well, so you're just gonna announce that laptop thing on your, I found you on Crystal Moms actually.
Yeah, so I'll announce it there. That building right over there with the quarter shaped round thing is my office.
Okay.
The whole thing, totally.
All 20 floors.
I've got a sweet little conference room with full tea, water service, coffee, and I will probably just set away like 2 hours, 4 hours, and I'm going to be in there anyway, and I'll invite everyone
Go for
else,
it, sure.
and I'll let Graham know so he can post it up and do the same thing, and just be like a work thing. It won't be me teaching.
My husband,
Yeah.
thanks for your time.
Okay.
Thanks for coming. You're welcome.
And
Nice
he's
to
the
meet you.
respiratory
I'll see you on
therapist now,
Crystal
but he
Moms.
misses
Yeah, I kind of
him.
blast
Or
out
Crystal
Crystal
Moms
Moms.
getting paid for it.
Yeah.
So what kind of equipment do you have? Do you have like a little studio set up?
Oh, I
I do,
totally
and
forgot.
we have a